Hi, welcome to Checking In with Lashings, where we're catching up with a host of Lashings legends, not just from in the UK, but around the world. Today, we are a little bit closer to home. We're welcoming in for a chat the legend that is Lancashire legend, England leg spinner, Chris Schofield. How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, very well, Fitz. How are you, buddy?
You're looking well, mate. You've got your Lashings, your new Lashings top there from our kit sponsors, Redfoot. Hopefully, we'll get one or two games in back end of the season, September. That's what we're crossing our fingers on, and we can get everyone out there and playing in the new kit. But great to see you. What we're going to do, we're going to chat through. Never really get a chance to do this at Lashings games. We're always kind of running around so busy, but have a chat about your career. Then we're going to talk a little bit about your involvement with Lashings, how you got involved, and all of that stuff, and then maybe a few quick fire questions at the end. But just in terms of your career and a few stats here, 237 first-class wickets, over 3,800 first-class runs. You played Test match cricket, and you were a member of the World Cup T20 squad over in South Africa. So some great achievements there. What I wanted to ask you, go back early in your career. You played for England under 19 and toured with England in England under 19. Am I right in saying you toured actually as a specialist batsman in those days?
No, I wasn't classed as an all-rounder. I was more of a leg spinning batsman at the time. But yeah, we went to South Africa where we played 5 Test matches, 5 one-day internationals before Christmas, and then there was a World Cup of 50-over cricket afterwards, which we ended up winning. So that was a great achievement early on in my career. But it was the first time that I've really toured, being away for 6 months of the year over the winter.
Wow.
And that was hard work. And then, but when I came back in, it put me in good stead for the season ahead.
So you mentioned now, like playing as an all rounder, even in those early days. But with leg spin, how did you actually get into leg spin bowling?
I played a lot of indoor cricket at Rochdale, and from a young age of being 12, 13, I was playing against a lot of senior cricketers, and I was bowling medium pace at the time. And I wasn't really competing with the ball. So when I tried to bowl a little bit of a slower ball, leg spin or an off spin, I found like I was involved in the game a little bit more. I could get wickets. I could get these senior guys out. And then it kind of stemmed from there, really. So, and then leg spin, there were a couple of guys who was, John Holder was one who taught me how to hold the ball and trying to spin the ball as hard as I could. And then in my later years, Peter Sleep took me under his wing to pretty much get me to play for England back in the day.
So, as you said there, bowling leg spin, being an all-rounder, was the drive to actually be an all-rounder, literally, like we hear the likes of Ian Botham, just wanting to be so involved in the game?
Yeah, it's one of them where you need all 3 aspects of the game to be at the top. And I wanted to perform, I wanted to be involved in the game as much as possible. So if I wasn't bowling, I was doing something in the field, making sure I was in the key places to either take catches or stop runs, take run outs, or and hopefully I get given the ball. In my early years, we had Matthias Muraliferan as our overseas, Carl Hooper. So them 2 guys were taking a lot of the overs up. And then you've got our seamers as Glenn Chappell, Peter Martin, Ian Austin, Andrew Flintoff, Glenn Chappell. It was one of them. It was difficult to get the ball in your hand. You had a fantastic bowling lineup. So I knew in my career to be involved, I had to make sure I was on top of my game in all aspects. And my years down at Lancashire, I started off as a leg spin bowler. Then I became a batsman because I wasn't really getting much of a ball, really. So it was one of them where it was kind of horses for courses, really.
Just coming back to your early days with Lancashire, or just before that as well, when did you realise that you really were going to be able to make it as a professional cricketer?
It was one of them. When I was young, I always wanted to play cricket. I was 24/7 practicing, playing indoor cricket, playing cricket at the weekend. If there's midweek cricket, I was playing junior cricket. And then I went for a couple of trials. Lancashire weren't really keen on signing me. I was a bit too young at the time, and I haven't done enough cricket. And I got invited to go down to some trials down at Leicester and down at Derby. And Lancashire kind of caught wind of this and said, actually, we don't want you to go anywhere. We've got high hopes for you here. We want you to stay here. And luckily, they offered me a contract. And it kind of went from there, really. Going on the tours with the England under-19s. Went to Australia, into Melbourne to try and better myself over the winter the year afterwards. And then when I toured with the England A team, we went to Bangladesh for 3 weeks. Then we went to New Zealand, and we had Mike Gattin as our coach. And Gat came back from the tour and just said, "This lad's got to play Test match cricket. He's got to be in. Get him in there."
Wow. Those years in, you mentioned some of the names there from a Lancashire perspective. You played with some great names, some big personalities as well. Can you give us a bit of an insight of just what it was like for those years at Lancashire to be within that squad, and with those personalities?
Going back a year before I kind of joined on the staff, you turned up and you were training, you was with the you were with the whole squad, but there was a first team and a second team dressing room. So you had to knock on the first team dressing room just to be let in. And then they invite you in and say, what do you want, pretty much? You're not supposed to be in here. And but we had David Lloyd as our coach, and he put a stop to that. He pretty much said that we are one squad. We're not a A team or a B team, first team, second team. We are one squad. So we kind of knocked down the partition in the middle, and it became one big changing rooms. And it was one of them where I think back in the day, you had the senior guys cleaning people's shoes and making sure they've got drinks, getting them cups of tea, and making sure that they get well looked after. That was your job as a junior cricketer at the time. But as we kind of all got 12-month contracts, and we all became a squad more than a first team and second team.
Just moving on then to your international careers, and like Gat said, this guy has to play international cricket, play Test cricket. And I remember, watching cricket back in the day at that time, and looking at leg spinners and the media talking about leg spinners, and it's all about, we've got to find our own Shane Warne and this, that, and the other. As a leg spinner, with Shane Warne playing for the Australians, did you feel any kind of extra pressure on you to perform in that particular role?
I didn't actually think I would be involved in that role at the time. It was I was just learning my game. I know there are a lot of people talking about it, and I was just going out, express myself, playing as best as I can with the bat and the ball. And like I said, with the tour that I went to Bangladesh and New Zealand, I was leading wicket taker. I scored a load of runs down in the middle order, in both in Bangladesh and New Zealand, and I got given some prize for the best fielding award on the trip as well. So my all-round game was, from me being abroad, was pretty much spot on. But I've only played something like 6 first-class games at the time, so I was still quite raw. I still didn't really realise about the top level. I just was playing cricket. I was enjoying it. And when you're on tour, you kind of knew you was playing. You knew your role. You knew what you wanted, what the captain and the coaches wanted from you. So you just kind of went out there and enjoyed and expressed yourself.
Sure.
But it was good to come back. And I got given the central contract because obviously the Shane Warne factor. And like you say, I've only played probably half a dozen first class games, and it was probably way too soon. Even though people saw potential in me, I haven't played probably enough cricket at the top level. So I kind of walked into a dressing room of guys who have probably played 15, 20 years of first class cricket, probably 10 years of international cricket, and they've earned their stripes, so to speak. That's what, back in the day, you have to earn your stripes to walk into the first team dressing room, to be respected by one of the senior guys because you've done enough in the game to warrant that respect. And I probably walked into a dressing room not playing any cricket, and people thinking, what am I doing in this room?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a remarkable story for yourself because you had a couple of years away out of the county game when you were released by Lancashire. But it was such a great comeback with Surrey and your form, and then actually getting into international cricket again with the World Cup, the T20 World Cup. But what did you feel you had to do in those sort of 2 years or so away from county cricket to actually bounce back and get back into the full-time professional game?
Yeah, it came to as a shock, me leaving Lancashire. I was probably just coursing a little bit that the last couple of years. I wasn't bowling as much. I was batting in the middle order, but I was scoring a lot of runs. So I thought my time will come when it comes to bowling. We won't have Matai and Maliferin. There'll be opportunities for me to bowl the overs that I need to bowl. So if I'm still playing first team cricket, I know I have to play as a batsman. So my averages with the bat was going up and up in 1 day cricket and 4 day cricket. So I thought I was still all right to continue to play for Lancashire. Then obviously I got released. And when I got released, it was the end of the season. And for me to try and find a county at the time was pretty tricky. And we had a tribunal case through the winter, which didn't put me in good stead in a way because it looked like I was a troublemaker with Lancashire. And I think that's how clubs deemed me, as a bit of a troublemaker, taking Lancashire to court, etc. But the facts of the matter with employment law is that they had to give me notice that I was being released, and they didn't do that. But anyway, that's all done and dusted. And that the year I got released, I hated the game. I hated cricket. I didn't want to play anymore. I kind of had enough, and I kind of had about 3 or 4 months, and cricket was being played. I'll watch it on TV, and I thought, actually, I've got something to give here. I want to try and get back. So I said I'll play a bit of minor county cricket. Somebody came to me and said, "Will you play some minor counties?" So I played with Cheshire. I went and back played at my local club, Littleborough, which my friends were brilliant, and I had family around me which gave me so much support. And then I did a bit more travelling. I didn't get any another county. I went and trialled down at Derbyshire. I went up to Durham with no such luck as a contract. And Suffolk came in, and I thought, well, Suffolk has got a good media coverage, especially down in the Essex area, Middlesex, and the southern teams. Hopefully, might get wind of what I've been doing. That I've been playing some decent cricket, etc. But it's down for me to perform. Anyway, luckily, I had a really good season. I was bowling lots. I was playing minor counties for Suffolk. I was playing for Sussex. I was playing for Ormskirk in the Liverpool comp. So my weeks was playing on a Saturday in Ormskirk in Liverpool, travelling all the way down to Ipswich on the Saturday night to play Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, playing county cricket with second team with, say, Sussex or Surrey at the time. And that was my week in, week out. So I remember going through June and I played something like 34 days of cricket non-stop.
Wow.
And in between that, I actually rolled my ankle as well on one of the games. So I had ligament damage to my left foot.
Right.
So I was strapped up for God knows what, a good 2 weeks, being properly heavily strapped up, playing this cricket just for me to try and get a contract. And I can remember playing against David Ward. I think he was playing for Shropshire at the time. And I scored 100 in the first innings, 100 in the second innings, 6 for, and 5 in the second innings. And he just had a beer with me afterwards and said, "You need to be playing county cricket, mate. I'll have a chat with Surrey." And as it happens, they give me a 1-year contract.
Brilliant.
And that's all I asked for. Yeah.
Was it your aim when you first started playing minor counties cricket following the Lancashire thing? Was it your aim to actually get back into county cricket at that level again, or did it just evolve in terms of all the cricket you played and the success you had?
Yeah, I think minor counties is a good avenue for cricketers to get through into the county circuit. So yeah. I didn't want to take a place up if I didn't feel like it was right, because I will be taking a place of somebody, as a young lad who wants to be a county cricketer. And so when I finished playing with Surrey 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I got asked to play minor county cricket, and I said I didn't want to because I will be taking the role of a youngster who wants to be a professional cricketer. Unless I played if I was a coach, player coach, but I wasn't doing all the batting, all the bowling, then yes, but when I play cricket, you know how much I want to be involved. I want to open the batting, I want to open the bowling, I want to always be involved. So, but yeah, back in the day, I did say that I felt it was a good avenue to get back into county cricket by going down the minor county route. Yeah.
So playing for Surrey, form particularly in T20, gets you into that T20 World Cup squad. Going to South Africa, again, that must have been a great experience for you.
Well, if you think for 12 months beforehand, I'm just playing club cricket.
And
then
remarkable, really.
It is. And then for Alan Butcher and Mark Butcher to have a bit of trust in me and give me an opportunity to play for them guys, and they just gave me a 1 year contract and said it's up to you, and that's all I asked for. And and I owe them a lot for that, just that chance, really. And I was MVP for the MVP top. I was in the top 10 all the way through the season of that year. And it only just came in the MVP. So you're always looking at it to see if you can kind of get yourself, top yourself up there. And like we had the likes of Yasser Arafat, who obviously plays with us. We've had Dirk Nannes, and I was fighting against them two boys for the top places. I think Darren Stevens was fourth, somewhere up there. Darren Maddy. So yeah, we were fighting for that number one position of the MVP. But it was just unbelievable to have a 6 months as I did, to the opportunities that I did, and then, like you say, come September, to be involved in the 2020 World Cup over in South Africa was amazing.
Excellent. I just want to move on to Lashings now. How did you actually get involved with Lashings?
I was with Devon, Big Devon Malcolm down in Lords.
Big Dev.
Yeah, we had a six-a-side competition at Lords, and I think that was on the Wednesday. And we've always used to play Eastbourne on the Friday. I think it was like the first week in June. A massive event down at Eastbourne, brilliant club to go down to. And he's got a phone call off one of the managers at the time to say, have you got any players? We've just had a couple of big names drop out. Can you fulfill them, sort of thing? So he said, well, I've got Chris Schofield here. Would you be interested? And at the time, he was like, well, I'm looking at Murray Goodwin, who was down at Sussex, and he wasn't 100% sure if he was available to play. We had Scott Styris as well in the country as well, who was doing some commentary or some coaching at the time. So we were looking to see if he could play. And he said, will you be able to put him on standby? So anyway, I got a phone call late Thursday night. Would you be able to make it all the way down to Eastbourne?
Oh, no.
So I've driven from Lords all the way home. And then I get the phone call a couple of hours later. Would you mind coming all the way down to Eastbourne and play this fixture? And as you know, it was well worth it, because I've played ever since. But it was one of them where Murray Goodwin did play, so me and him opened the batting. I remember we had Herschel Gibbs, we had Yasser Arafat, we had Mohamed Akram, we had Inzaman ul Haq. It was unbelievable. Tino Best, Gordon Greenwich was there. And it was unbelievable to walk into a dressing room with these legends. It was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic. It was like I was on trial, because obviously these legends are who they came to really watch, all these guys who have played plenty more international cricket than me, but to walk in there and say, Scoy, open the batting. I think they got off to a big start as well. They were hitting the ball all over the place. And I came on and took 3 wickets as well for not many runs. And luckily, he said, "What, are you available next week?" I said, "Of course I am, yes." So,
well, it's like you said, you've been involved ever since, and really one of our most regular players, and totally reliable. But what would you say? I know we have the lunch and we have play the game, we do the coaching with the kids, but as a cricketer and a former international cricketer, what does it do for you guys to actually be in the changing rooms all together again with your peers that have all played at that international level? There must be a certain kind of vibe there.
it is. It's that banter. It's that cricket banter that you have, and you've had it all your life, and then and now for me, you've got different eras of the banter because obviously you've got the Gordon Greenwiches who, and then you've got myself who's probably the youngest around, and you've got Bickers who's 10 years older than me, and Devon who's 10, 15 years older than me. But we've all got that same sort of cricket banter, and we've still got that drive and that hunger to do well. You never lose that fire in your belly. So if you've got a young lad who's a good cricketer and playing well, you want to get him out. Dev will charge in. He'll bowl him a bouncer if he needs to, just to try and get him out. It's one of them where, our pace and our has probably dropped. Our running between the wickets have probably lacked a little bit, but you never lose that fight and that hunger to win, and that's what kind of drives us. But we're there to have a great time. It's fantastic to be involved with all the clubs, and especially getting the kids involved. Like you say, everybody wins in my eyes. The kids get coached. We raise some valuable funds for the clubs and for charities. We have a great game of cricket. The players enjoy playing against us and learning from us and talking to us, and just giving some experience as much as we can. So, but it's good.
It's interesting. It's interesting going back to what you said about that hunger to win as professionals. When I talk to new clubs in the Diary, clubs that have not played against Lashings World 11 before, and sometimes I get asked, "Oh, would it be like an exhibition and a little bit of a mess around and 15 players in the field?" I'm like, no. With the guys will be doing it properly. I was talking to Tino Best on one of these interviews yesterday, and we were talking about times when he gets a bit of banter from batsmen, and we're on the boundary's edge thinking, "Oh no, don't do that." Don't do that, because you know what's going to happen the next ball. But it's good. It's good for the clubs, particularly when they've got youngsters in their side that are up and coming. For you guys that are actually out there doing it properly, it can be a really good learning experience for them.
Yeah, and it is one of them where we've got a good team, a great set of lads, and like obviously I've captained over the last couple of years, and the job is to try and make sure that if you can see some quality in batsmen, then get Tino Best on. We had him charging in 90 mile an hour, 100 mile an hour if he can, and he's trying to get him out. So we put them guys, like I say, that our best bowlers against the best batsmen, and show them what it's like to play against a top fast bowler like that. If there's somebody that's quite not got the technique, then you might just get Martin Bicknell on and try and bowl a little bit of medium pace and swing. But Bickers is still one of these guys who hits the top of off stump, swings the ball lovely and nicks them off. And then if you've got a couple of youngsters who, again, might be a little bit scared of, say, Tino Best, you've got the likes of myself, John Embry, Sacklane, Mushtaq, these guys to bowl a little bit of spin against them and just give them a bit of fun, see what it's like to face against, like I say, quality spinners who can maybe score a little bit of runs. Like we've played some games and we've had coaches say, "Oh, we're going to bring in this 15-year-old lad, but he's a bit too young." And I said, "Well, we can cater for that because we've got the spinners as well to say, right, get him in, middle down the order." And I can't remember where the club was, but I think there was a 15-year-old lad came in, probably about 7 or 8. Spinners were on. I think Daffy was bowling, me was bowling, John Embry was bowling, and he scored something like 30 at the back end of a game. And he walked off, and his parents and and they held him up high on the shoulders, and he'll never ever forget that
Never
moment.
forget it.
No,
No, I mean, that's one of the things you guys do really well, being professionals for so many years and internationals and everything, is that you provide the entertainment, batting first and all of that razzmatazz and entertainment. You make it competitive, but also when you need to manage the game in terms of like for the youngsters like that, or manage the game for the crowd, you do that excellently as well. So I just want to move on. I just got 2 or 3 questions about lockdown, and then just a few quick fire questions. Here's a good one. Who in the Lashings squad would you least like to spend 12 weeks in isolation with? I can think of 1 or 2 candidates.
oh, do I have to say why?
No.
All right. Osman Afzal.
Okay, I know why. What have you missed most about being in lockdown?
My sport.
Yeah.
For 30 years, I've been playing football, cricket, golf, snooker, any kind of sport that's available to me. I've always played, and for me to be stuck indoors, not be able to play any sort of sport, has been absolutely hard work.
Have you managed to get back on the golf course since
I
they
played
relaxed
1
that
round
rules?
of golf. I did.
Yeah.
I got an invitation last weekend to play in a comp, which was good. So I've played 1 round of golf, and my last game was last September. So, but
Right.
yeah, it was good to be out there. But yeah, it's been hard work for sure.
Hard work, absolutely. Has there been anything? Obviously, lockdown, what's going on in the world has been absolutely horrible. But from your personal lockdown experience, has there been anything positive, like something that you've managed to sort of do that you'll take forward once we go back to normal?
I'm good at DIY now.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, my missus thinks I'm great at DIY now because
Oh,
she's been
no.
giving me all the jobs. She's been going off to work and
Sure.
giving me just put up that shelf for us and do us the rabbit cage and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's been great to spend a lot of time with the kids, because if you think our summer is quite hectic, traveling up and down the country with the Lashings, and then I'm playing at the weekend. So it's been fantastic to spend a lot of time with the kids. It's been lovely at the weekend, so we've had a lot of play time in the back garden. So that's something that I probably don't do a great deal of in the summertime.
I know your good lady's a key worker as well. So with her doing all of that, it's a great job, and you sort of covering everything at home. So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right, a few quick fire ones. So this is in the normal world, personal preference. Would you prefer to stay in or go out?
Go out.
Go out. Surf or turf?
Both.
Both.
Can I have both?
Surf and turf. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing like a steak with 2 prawns on top.
Well, hopefully one day we'll take everyone over to America and we'll do it properly.
Oh,
golf.
good.
Here's a good one for you: golf or cricket?
Golf.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this one. Sunglasses or cap?
Sunglasses.
Yeah. Auto or manual?
Manual, but
Manual.
I think I might be going to auto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good man. Right, last one. KFC or McDonald's?
McDonald's.
Brilliant.
Big Mac. Yeah.
Scully, while we've been talking, I've got one more question I'd like to ask you, actually. So when you were talking about your career and, real kind of highs and lows and sort of coming back into the swing of things in county cricket, with everything that you've experienced, you kind of experienced everything. What advice would you give to a youngster looking to start making their way in the professional game?
For me, it's one of them. Never give up. I think, like you say, when I left Lancashire, I kind of give up for a little bit because my head wasn't right. And then it's one of them. If you want to fulfill your dreams, it's one of them. Just never give up. Keep working hard at your game. Keep practicing as much as you can. Keep developing. Just just keep pushing the boundaries as much as you can.
Sure.
Especially with your bowling, with your batting. Can you try this shot? Can you try that shot? And it's one of them. Just keep trying to progress as much as you can, and it's one of them where if someone says that you can't do something, show them that you can.
Scully, it's been fantastic to talk to you. Thanks ever so much for taking the time. I know you're busy now, back doing your coaching and everything, and all your DIY and all your looking after the kids and everything. I'm glad you're well. I'm glad the family's well, and I'll just look forward to seeing you and the rest of the boys sooner rather than later. Thanks ever so much for your time, mate.
No worries, Fitz. Good to see you. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Scully.